I think one of the most beautiful areas I've been to.
The diversity of these terroirs and rock formations is perhaps the most dramatic.
How fresh the wines are and mineral driven, and how pure they are. I said, watch this space.
So when I talk to Americans about Roussillon, or people who don't know it, I begin by saying it's in the south of France. It's the other Riviera. It's on the Mediterranean, snuggled up next to the Spanish border. And it's incredibly beautiful. It has like white sandy beaches and then rocks and cliffs as well. They are Banyuls. But it also has the snow-capped Pyrenees. So it's just like a really magical, beautiful place on earth. And they make wine here. And they also have the cuisine. The Catalan cuisine is very exquisite to taste.
Beautiful place to come and explore. Fantastic winding roads, which if you like driving is really beautiful. From the mountains down to the sea, really incredible high altitude vineyards, and then you can, well, even from those you can see the sea. So that drive takes, really an hour from the vineyards close to the sea up to the highest altitude is very, very accessible.
You get the feeling it is this frontier land, very sort of exposed, very rocky, huge differences in topography, in soil types, but beautiful vineyards, but not just vineyards, olive trees, wild plants, and of course at this time of year all the wildflowers is just beautiful. It smells it as well. When you walk in the vineyards you can smell the wildflowers as well.
This sort of getting this feeling of the different valleys, the different regions, the diversity actually within Roussillon. That was a really big surprise.
The variety of soils here is extraordinary. I think we were told at one of the sessions that we have nearly 90% of all the different soil types of France are found here in the Roussillon. So we have schist, and we have granite, and we have gneiss, and we have red iron-rich soils, and we have clays, and we have gravels, and in different parts of the Roussillon, different soils. So the plain of around Perpignan is where the three rivers disgorge from the mountains, and there's a lot of galets roulés, rolled river pebbles and silts and loam. As you climb up the mountains, you get into the geological formations, which are very complex because the Pyrenees, as Spain, the Spanish peninsula crashed into France, it drove up the Pyrenees. You have layers of limestone, you have layers of schist, and you have granite, metamorphic rock, and all of these in patches. So a lot of the terroirs are specifically located on certain types of soil. Specifically, famously, Maury, the valley of Maury, has a bed of schist in most of the valley, a grey, black schist. So really complex soils, and it's great for a winemaker to have so many different types of soils to play with.
The biggest thing about the terroir of Roussillon for me is the diversity. But discovering that the volcanic schist soils from closer to the mountain slopes is giving a freshness and mineral elegance to the wines is a revelation. I knew that there was a little salinity in the white wines from the sea and a freshness there, but discovering that the granitic schist is giving such a precise mineral quality to the red wines has been a discovery for me.
The most surprising thing is the intense diversity of terroir. The soil structures, the different soils, the different rocks, the different mixes, and then we've been able to match these with the wines produced on those terroirs. And I think that is, the diversity of these terroirs and rock formations is perhaps the most dramatic difference, a surprising thing that I've discovered.
I was particularly impressed with an identity of the Aspres terroir, where I found a textural imprint in the wines, in the red wines, a quality of tannin and layers of tannin that I found very, very interesting. In Banyuls, Collioure, you can feel the sea breeze stopping the wines getting too hot, and once again, an area that is in the beginning of forming a very interesting identity.
It comes out in the texture of the wines. I mean, the landscape, they're in a lot of schist, a lot of rock. The vineyards look hard, hard to work, hard to control. But it comes out in the wines, in the ripeness, the fullness. There's a herbaceous note in a lot of them. But it comes out in the old vines as well, the intensity of the fruit, I mean, the real fruit purity. And if you get that balance right, there's a great starting block for great wines. The standard level of wines is very, very high.
Mineral, and that's in capitals. Fresh, for a good quantity of them, and diverse. Sent a WhatsApp to our sales team saying, I can't believe A, how beautiful it is, B, how forward-thinking the wine producers are, C, how fresh the wines are and mineral-driven, and how pure they are. I said, watch this space.
More varied than expected. Distinctive, and good value.
So much diversity. It's easy to just think of Roussillon as one place, but actually within here you have everything from the various different Cotes du Roussillon villages, and we saw the differences within those. One big thing for me was white Collioure today, fantastic, really saline, really fresh, grapefruit pithy, not fat, not rich, not hot. Yeah, real great diversity.
First of all, the freshness. There's a lot of freshness in these wines. The acidity is there, and a lot of it's coming, I think, from the limestone soils as well as the schist. A lot of minerality as well, and some spiciness that I find very attractive in the wines. I'm especially enjoying the white wines. And these are dry white wines with very good acidity and freshness and good minerality, but some ripe fruitiness as well. And also some texture, so they can be quite complex, and I'm really enjoying them.
Range of rich, ripe, but very, very fresh wines. And that is equally true for white wines as it is for red wines. A territory to explore if you like your wine to have flavour, but you also like your wine to have freshness and lift.
To describe the Roussillon wines, I think the key word that I would use is freshness, which is true of both the reds and the whites. In spite of the fact that many of the reds are big, robust wines, they all seem to have an underlying freshness. The different reds, Syrah, and Mourvèdre, which in other parts of the world can be very heavy and rather cloying. Here they have this innate freshness.
Just because it's in the south of France in a hot area, don't expect the wines to lack acidity. I think that was a really big shock, was the enormous freshness in the white wines, the red wines, the rosé, and also the complexity of all the vins doux naturels. You know, you know of the Maury, you know of Banyuls, but having the 8 different styles, that was a bit of a surprise.
If I look to the vins doux naturels, for me, the wines are simply great, you know. So that's the real treasure of the Roussillon.
This trip was a great chance to really get behind the scenes and cover an awful lot of the terroirs, learn a lot more than I can learn driving around in my car on my own. And beautiful, and a chance to meet great people with huge knowledge and experience of the area. So it's been terrific.
As far as I had an impression of Roussillon, it was just more of the same of the Languedoc. I see it as quite a different, almost a separate region. It's got its own history and background, so it's been quite illuminating, I would say.
We've been incredibly lucky with the weather. It's been absolutely fantastic. We've had a proper tramontane blowing. We were able to go up Fort Syrah to look at the whole of the department laid before us on a beautiful sunny day. And I think the impact and the time of year, the greenness of the vines, it's late May, everything is very fresh, very green, the flowers are all out. It's been a superb time of year to come, and I think everyone's really enjoyed themselves.
Mega. Just one word, mega exceptional. Yeah. I really enjoyed this tour. So very good organization, very nice people.
I always say I've been to the Douro 3 or 4 times, and I always say it is the most beautiful place in the world for viticulture and for visiting. Perhaps I might have to give it an equal spot in Collioure. It is ridiculous how beautiful it is here.